I'm 68 years old, and the thing that nearly caught me out in my first week in Port Macquarie wasn't the heat, it was the UV index. And it burned the back of my neck raw in the 8 minutes it took me to walk to the mailbox and back. Before I tell you how that went, do me one quick favor. Subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It honestly means a lot, and it keeps us in touch out here. So picture it. 11 in the morning. I'd been in the country all of 6 days. There was a ute sitting in the driveway, cockatoos screeching up in the gum tree overhead, and a soft, salty breeze coming off the Pacific that had me thinking, well, this is mild, this is lovely. No hat, no thought in my head. Just an old man in a t-shirt strolling down to check the mail. Gone maybe 8 minutes. That's all. By that afternoon, the back of my neck was red and stinging, hot to the touch, the kind of sting where you flinch when your collar brushes it. And I stood there in the mirror thinking, how on earth did that happen? I wasn't even out there long enough to finish a cup of coffee. Now, here's the part that really got me. Back in the States, I'd sit out on the porch a whole July day, and I'd come in a little pink, nothing a shower didn't fix. Here, the sun bites within a day. 8 minutes, and it had me. That's the gap nobody warned me about before I got on the plane. And if you're picturing yourself under that big Australian sky right now, dreaming about it, this is exactly the thing nobody warned you about. So stay with me, because I'm going to hand you the fix. Now, let me say the villain out loud, plain and simple. It isn't the temperature. That morning wasn't even that hot. That's what fooled me. It's the strength of the rays coming down. The UV. That's a whole different animal from the heat. And I'll walk you through exactly why in a minute, because once it clicked for me, everything changed. But first, let me put your mind at ease. This is not a scare video. I'm not here to frighten you off the best decision I ever made. I live outside now, happily, every single day. I walk, I potter in the garden, I sit and watch that blue horizon. The sun down here is a gift, and I wouldn't trade it. I just had to learn one simple thing first, and I'm going to give it to you straight, the way I wish someone had given it to me, because I know the question that's already forming in your head. It's the same one I had that evening, dabbing at my neck. What gear do I actually need to stay covered out here, and what's it all going to cost me? Do I need some expensive setup? Am I going to be slathered head to toe like a lifeguard? Short answer, no. It comes down to 3 simple things, and together they cost less than one dinner out. I'll lay every one of them on the table for you before we're done the item to buy first, the price, all of it. And honestly, that's the exact reason I sat down and wrote it all out. It's called OnewayGuide. It's the honest little rundown of everything I learned the hard way over 4 years down here, the smart hours to be outside, the exact gear worth buying, and what every bit of it actually cost me in real dollars. All the stuff nobody tells you before you land. It's the guide I wish someone had handed me before I left the States, so you get to skip the sunburn and the guesswork. If you want it, the link's down in the description. So, let me tell you what life actually looks like here now, once you've got it sorted. Because it's a good life, a real good one. I'm up early, before the day gets its teeth. That's when Port Macquarie is at its best. The cockatoos are screeching their heads off at dawn. The air's still cool, and I take my morning walk along the water while the light's soft and gold. Then, come the middle of the day, when that sun's really leaning on you, I'm on the shaded porch with a cup of coffee in my hand, watching the world go by. And I'll tell you, that shady coffee has quietly become the best part of my whole routine. I never planned it that way. It just happened, once I understood the rhythm of the place. So, is it really that dangerous, this famous Australian sun? No, not once. You know the one habit. But, and here's the catch, you have to know it first. You have to know it before you go strolling down to the mailbox at 11 in the morning with your bare neck out like I did. And I didn't figure it out on my own. I'm not that clever. It came from one fellow down at the surf club in one single sentence. There's a wiry old lifesaver there named Bruce. Been patrolling that beach longer than I've been alive, near enough. Leathery as an old boot, and he's always got this white stripe of zinc painted straight down his nose. First time I met him, I was still nursing that sunburn, and I told him my sad little mailbox story, expecting some sympathy. He just looked at me. Then he said 7 words. 7 words about my own shadow, of all things, and I promise you, those 7 words completely reorganized how I live down here. I've never checked the mailbox at the wrong hour since. Let me tell you exactly what Bruce said. 7 words, and here they are. Mate, if your shadow's shorter than you, you're getting cooked. That's what Bruce told me at the surf club, that wiry old lifesaver with the white zinc stripe down his nose. And once I understood why he was right, I never checked the mailbox at the wrong hour again. Let me unpack it, because it sounds like an old-timer's riddle until you really hear it. Think about where the sun sits. Early morning, it's low, off to the side, and your shadow stretches out long across the grass. Come the middle of the day, that sun climbs almost straight overhead, and when it's straight overhead, your shadow shrinks right down to a little puddle around your feet. That's the moment the rays are punching down hardest in the straightest line, with the least sky to travel through. So your shadow is really a free little meter you carry around everywhere you go. Short shadow, strong sun. Long shadow, gentle sun. That's the whole thing. Go stand outside after this and look down at your shadow. Just look at it. That little check is the whole game, and it costs you nothing but 2 seconds. Now, let me close the loop I opened earlier, because this is the part that finally made sense of my sunburnt neck. Why does the same sun feel so different down here than it did back home? For years, I figured heat was heat. A hot day was a hot day. But it isn't the heat that gets you here. It's the strength of the rays coming through. And the air over Australia is thinner and cleaner than what I lived under in the States. So more of that ultraviolet just sails right through and lands on your skin. The temperature can be pleasant. The rays can still be brutal. Those two things come apart down here in a way they never did for me back home, and the numbers behind it genuinely knock me back. There's a scale called the UV index. It just measures how strong the ultraviolet is at any moment. Back in the States, a hot summer afternoon might read a 6 or a 7, and even that's plenty to redden you. Here, in an Australian summer, that index climbs past 11 and 12. They've got an official word for that level. They call it extreme. Not high, extreme. I remember reading 12 on a mild-feeling morning and just sitting there thinking, that's the number that got the back of my neck. Because here's the trap, and it's exactly the trap I walked into. That salty breeze coming in off the Pacific feels so cool and easy on your face. It fools you completely. It whispers, "This is mild, take your time, no hat needed." Meanwhile, the index is screaming and the rays are cooking you anyway. The cool air hides the strength of the sun. That's the whole con of it. My skin wasn't reacting to how it felt, it was reacting to how strong that light was, and the breeze had nothing to do with the light at all. Sounds too simple to matter, right? A shadow, a breeze, a number. That's exactly what I thought, until my neck taught me otherwise, stinging away that first afternoon in Port Macquarie. Now, about Bruce. I want you to picture him properly, because he's the reason I get this right now. He's down at the surf club most mornings, one of those old volunteer lifesavers who's been watching that stretch of coast longer than I've been alive. Lean as a fence post, forearms like rope, and that thick white stripe of zinc smeared right down the bridge of his nose, so he looks like he's wearing war paint. He doesn't do it for show. He does it because he's out under that sky for hours, and he's not about to lose the tip of his nose to it. And he doesn't just wear the zinc. He times his whole day around the sun, same as I do now. He told me once, plain as anything, "I do my patrols early and late, son. Nobody sensible's on that beach at noon but tourists and lobsters." Tourists and lobsters. I laughed, but he wasn't joking. The man reads the sky the way I used to read the morning paper. He's not scared of it. He respects it, and he plans around it, and then he goes and enjoys his ocean all day long. That's the reframe I want to hand you, because I know how all this can start to sound. Frightening. Like the sky's out to get you, and you'd better hide indoors with the blinds down. No, that's not it at all, and I'd never sell you that. This isn't about fearing the sky. The sky here is the most beautiful thing I've ever lived under, wide and blue and clean, cockatoos screeching across it at dawn, That big open feeling I never had back in the States. I wouldn't trade it for anything. This is about reading one thing: your shadow. That's it. 2 seconds, glance down, and you know exactly what the sun's doing before you feel a thing. A hazard that ambushed me in week 1 turned into a habit I don't even think about anymore. It just runs in the background, quiet as breathing. So the fear melts right off once you see how little you actually have to manage. You're not fighting the sun, you're just listening to it, and it tells you everything through that little puddle of shade at your feet. But knowing why only gets you halfway. The question you're really sitting there asking is, okay, that's lovely, so what do I actually do about it? What do I do tomorrow morning when I want to walk the dog or potter in the garden or go get my groceries? Fair question. And here's the good news I've been building toward. So here's the part you actually came for: the 3 things and the 1 habit. That's all it is. 3 small things and 1 habit, and you'll be as easy under this sky as Bruce is. So, it comes down to 3 things you can buy this week for less than 1 dinner out, and 1 habit that costs nothing, and I'm going to give you the exact hours, the exact hat, and the exact price of every piece, in order, right now. So, let me lay the whole thing out in order, and I'll start with the piece that costs you nothing at all: the hour of the day. Here's what I do now, 4 years in. I take my walk, I run my errands, I get down in the garden, all of it before 10 in the morning or after 4 in the afternoon. That's it. That's the whole trick. Those are the hours when your shadow stretches out long across the driveway, long and lazy, taller than you are. And you remember what old Bruce told me at the surf club, that wiry lifesaver with the white zinc stripe down his nose. If your shadow's shorter than you, you're getting cooked. So I read my shadow, same as I read the weather, and I plan my day around it. The middle of the day? That's when I'm sitting in the shade with a cup of coffee. And I'll be honest with you, I fought that idea at first. Felt like I was giving up half the day. But now it's quietly become the best part of my routine. The cockatoos have mostly quit their screeching by then, the garden's already watered, and I just sit under the porch roof and watch the light come off the Pacific. Costs me nothing, gives me everything. That's the free part, and it's the most important part. Now, the 3 things you buy. Item 1 is a hat, and I don't mean a ball cap. A ball cap leaves your ears out in the open and the back of your neck completely bare, which, if you've been following along, is exactly the patch of skin that got me on that mailbox run in my first week. No, what you want is a proper broad brim hat. Brim all the way around, shade for your ears, your neck, the tops of your cheeks. Mine cost me about 35 Australian dollars, which is roughly 22 US dollars. And I'll say it plain, it's the best 22 bucks I've spent in this country. It hangs on a hook right by my front door, and I don't step off the porch after 9 in the morning without it on my head. Item 2 is the sunscreen. A good broad spectrum tube, and down here that runs around 15 Australian dollars. Nothing fancy. The habit is what matters, not the brand. I put it on before I head out, and if I've been out a good while puttering in the yard, chatting over the fence, I put a bit more on. 2 minutes. That's the whole cost of it. 2 minutes and you're covered. I keep a tube right on the outdoor table, so I've got no excuse to forget it. And item 3, for the days I'm heading down to the water. A long-sleeve UV shirt, the kind the surfers wear. Runs me about 40 Australian dollars, and it means I stop fussing about my arms entirely. I pull it on, I walk the beach, I sit and watch the waves, and my forearms aren't even a thought in my head anymore. That salty Pacific breeze can whisper all at once that the sun's gone mild, I know better now, and my shirt knows better too. So let's do the math together, because this is the whole point. Add it up with me: hat, sunscreen, shirt, that's your whole defense. And it's less than one night out. 35, 15, 40, that's 90 Australian dollars all in. Less than one dinner out for 2 down at the RSL with a bottle of wine. One dinner, and these 3 things last you years. That's the entire fix the title promised you. And there's the price tag on it, right out in the open. And notice what's not on that list. Fear, hiding, curtains drawn, hunkered down indoors, scared of your own sky. None of that. I want you to hear me clearly on this, because it's the thing that took me the longest to understand. This was never about being afraid of the sun. It's about reading your own shadow and stepping out at the right time. That's all. You look down, you check whether that shadow's long or short, and you know exactly what the day's asking of you. A wiry old lifesaver taught me that in one sentence, and it reorganized how I live. Let me tell you what that $90 actually buys you, because it's a whole lot more than sun protection. Picture your own morning. A walk at dawn, coffee in the shade at noon that's not hiding from the sun, that's living well under it. I'm out on the coastal path before the heat's even thought about waking up. The cockatoos are up in the gum trees making an absolute racket. The air's cool and green and smells like eucalyptus after the overnight dew. My shadow stretched out a mile ahead of me. Hat on, arms easy, not a worry in my body. Then home for that coffee in the shade while the day heats up. And in the late afternoon, when the light goes gold and soft again, I'm back out for another wander. 2 of the loveliest hours of the day, bookending a quiet middle. That's the rhythm, that's the life those 3 cheap things and 1 free habit hand you. And the sky. I have to tell you about the sky. In all my years back in the States, through all those long gray winters, I never once lived under anything like this. Widest, bluest sky you've ever seen. Goes on forever, out over the water. And the warmth? Oh, the warmth is a gift for these old joints. My knees haven't ached like they used to since I got here. That's the reward on the other side of one simple habit. If you want all of it written down, the exact hours, the exact gear, every price laid out plain, I put it together in a little guide called OnewayGuide. It's just the honest rundown I wish somebody had handed me before I left the States. So you can skip the sunburn and the guesswork and the rookie week I went through. It's there if you want it, but truthfully, you already have the heart of it now. The hours, the hat, the sunscreen, the shirt? You could start tomorrow. So let me mirror it right back to you, plain as I can. This is what it costs, about 90 Australian dollars, once, plus a habit that costs nothing. This is the one thing you do, you read your shadow, and you step out before 10 in the morning or after 4 in the afternoon. And that's it. That's within reach for you. Same as it was for a 68-year-old who showed up here not knowing a thing and got his neck burned checking the mailbox. It's doable, and it's worth it. You just have to know the one habit. And now you do. So go on. Get yourself under the widest, bluest sky you've ever lived under. It's waiting for you, and I promise, it's kinder than you fear.